FBO means VIP terminal. There's a lovely VIP terminal in Nigeria. And Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa right now, and they're growing at an extremely good rate. People don't understand the African market is so untapped. It is filled with potential. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of cargo going because Africa is such a rich land filled with resources. So all the resources are being exported, like perishable goods, which is vegetables, flowers, meat. It's all going out of Africa.
Mm.
And they're bringing in electronics, cars, spare parts, oil. They're bringing a lot of things. So the movement is extremely good. People don't understand that. There's a lot of money in Africa, but there's a lot of misinformation as well, because I know there are so many high net worth people there, but they feel private aviation is out of their reach because it's too expensive. And that's the misinformation we would like to sort of remove through a platform like this.
Welcome to Vicinfluential podcast. Today I have an incredible person, somebody who is going to enlighten us about education and the luxury service. So joining me today is Mr. Rez. He is well knowledgeable and he is into aviation, luxury service, charter. So everything you are going to hear today is legit because of he's into it. I hope that you listen and take your take and also have a contact in place. Mr. Rex.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me here, Victor.
Yes.
Pleasure. And looking forward to this.
Yes, it's amazing that you join us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, how have you been?
I've been all right, having a lovely, productive morning.
Yeah.
And started early today,
All right.
as usual.
Yeah, that's great. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, your background?
Right. So I was born and raised in Dubai. Been here all my life. Went away to England to study for a while, and then came back in 2011, and then been working here since then. But I wasn't working in aviation until recently.
Okay.
Yeah, I sort of stumbled upon aviation, but you know, as they say, we are where we are because of a reason. You know, wherever we've been, it's been for a reason, and it leads to where we are.
Fate.
So I started off as fitness. I was a personal trainer and a nutritionist, and I worked in fitness first for a very long time, from 2011 till 15.
Yeah.
I resigned in 16, and then I went into luxury retail. I worked with Rivoli for a while. Then from there, I went into something very unexpected. I went into base oil and petrochemicals. And all throughout, because I was dealing with a very particular clientele, so I was always having this exposure to aviation indirectly. But general aviation is private aviation, business aviation. So we as normal people always have exposure to commercial aviation, whoever flies and normal airports and the normal flights. However, when I was working in fitness first, I was working in a very cream club in Meadows. So a lot of the, how can I say, high net worth individuals, they come over there to work out. So you would hear from them, oh yeah, you know, private aviation, X-flight, charter, etc., etc. Moved into luxury retail. You know, you keep coming across these terms, but you're not really, I really wasn't into it because I never studied engineering. I'm very far from aviation, aeronautics, and avionics. But I always kept getting this exposure of private aviation. Then I moved into petrochemicals, and I was dealing with a lot of the West African and East African market. Over there, I started coming across more. So my clients would be asking if I do cargo charters or private jet charters. So back then, I would just get in touch with travel agencies or Google something up for the clientele and get them connected. It's only in 2022 that I started working in aviation full-fledged. And I started working from trip support, which is ground handling. So it's everything you see on the ground when an aircraft lands. So you see there's crew on the ground. They take care of pushbacks, the fuel, your luggage trolleys and everything. Whatever you're seeing around the aircraft, that's the ground handling side of things, including your overflight permits, your flight plans. So that's when I started getting involved into aviation. And then from trip support, I moved into private jet charters. So it was very interesting because all throughout my career, I was always exposed to certain aspects of business aviation. And I think I eventually got into it.
Yeah, I saw one of your podcasts. You said that you came from the lineage of greatness. So,
You saw that?
So how did you get the interest of going into fitness?
About fitness, well, I think monkey see, monkey do, right? So my father, he was always into fitness and very disciplined man throughout his life, even now. So I think I used to see him be extremely fit and disciplined as a kid. And that sort of influenced me somewhere to get into fitness. Like we used to have Arnold's magazines and a Bullworker. Like I don't even know if this generation knows what that equipment was. So stuff like that used to be lying around in the house. And Dad would be actively working out and doing a lot of things. I still remember me and my father have a big generation gap. I'm a very late child. Dad was 52 when he had me. So, by the time I was 16, he was already in his 70s. So I still remember I got one of those things to do pull-ups. And at that age, he was showing me how to do pull-ups and push-ups. I was amazed. Like I couldn't even do one.
Something he was doing push-ups.
Yeah. He's even now. His previous fitness has kept him where he is. He's 88 now. So that's what inspired me to be into fitness. And obviously, we used to see good-looking men. Like there's, like for example, the Arnolds and the Ronnie Colemans and people aspire to be like them. Athletes. Let's talk about athletes, right? And somewhere or the other, I think it influenced me a lot. I wasn't a great student, unlike everybody else in my family. But so I think I went into fitness and I took it seriously. I even got certified as a nutritionist and a personal trainer. So
yeah, but the way you're moving from a nutritionist, you're going into petrochemical, now you're into aviation. So someone will argue that you said you're not a
specialist.
Someone will argue that how did you go from being a nutritionist to now into aviation and into luxury aviation, right?
Yes.
So how did that happen? Is there anything like you have to get satisfied, like get education or get this course?
Well, see, it's been a journey, honestly. Like many people do, they when they see my CV, they're very interested. They're like, you've been into very different fields. Fitness was passion becoming profession.
Okay.
I didn't study fitness at university. I didn't do sports science. I did marketing. I studied psychology, so as bachelors. And then I realized that because my grades weren't that great, but fitness was something I was very much inclined into. And I started training one of my childhood friends. So he was always he trusted me a lot. He still trusts me a lot. And he was always my experiment. So first I would try all the workouts and everything and the regimes on myself. And then I would try it out on him. And people started seeing the difference. And he told me, he's like, why don't you take this up as a profession? Eventually I did. And it paid really good money. Back then, fitness, like people in fitness were earning crazy commissions if you're working with a decent brand. And back then, Fitness First was everything. So I managed to get a job with them. I ended up working with them for 4.5 years, which was great. And that's when I started coming across these high net worth people. Eventually, I lost my fitness. I had a car accident, blah, blah. So I did not look like a trainer anymore. And I didn't feel comfortable training somebody if I myself don't look like a trainer. It doesn't add up.
Okay.
So I resigned and I went into what I had studied, business, BBA, business administration. And I went to Rivoli and I was working in luxury retail. So, but throughout, I did sales. So in Fitness First, I was the product and I was marketing myself as how good I can look with my knowledge, with my appearance.
Yeah.
Luxury retail, you need to know the product and then you talk about it. So there's a lot of homework which goes into it. You need to understand the product. Then petrochemicals. Why petrochemicals? Because one of my contacts, he wanted to set up a company in Dubai. And he asked me that, what are you doing nowadays? I told him that I'm doing my MBA and I'm looking for a job. He said, okay, great. So I'm setting up a company. And because I've worked with you in the past, I want you to take care of that company, be the business development manager, etc. I told him that I don't know anything about petrochemicals. So he questioned me and he said that you're doing an MBA, do some research, study about this product.
Yeah.
I went out, I started studying things which I ran away from. Physics, chemistry, like bonds and viscosity and density and on flashpoints, all of these things which I never liked. I had to sit down and study them. And once I understood what petrochemicals are, the byproducts, and it comes from additives, from crude oil, et cetera, and where it's used in lubricants and furnace oils and greases, so many things. I eventually became the business development manager and I resigned from there as business operations head over the course of 3.5 years. So there is always homework which goes into whatever I've done.
Yeah.
Yes, I have moved around, but I've done just sales. I've done sales since I was very young. And as long as you understand the product, as long as you can talk about it, you have understanding. And if you can bridge the gap with some courses, that's brilliant.
And it looks like you're a very busy person. The first time we met, you were also in the car doing some work. Yes. And right now also you are downstairs doing some work.
Yes, so I'll tell you what I currently do. I work for a lovely company called Voyex Living. So we do private jet charters and 360 lifestyle solutions. All right. So we're not limited to private jet charters. We do VIP concierge, your up-class hotel bookings like this Four Seasons. We're talking about Six Senses. Talking about VIP transfers, helicopter transfers domestically, and not just limited to the Middle East. We have a brilliant, extensive network across the world. So we're talking about Africa, we're talking about Europe, we're talking about USA, we're talking about the CIS region. So we're very well connected, extensive network. We have access to over 15,000 aircrafts. So that means we're working with most operators in the world.
Yeah.
So we every morning, we have a beautiful 15-minute meeting. So to recap what's happening, what's happened and how the day is planned. And it's something very beautiful. And all of this planning and strategy, I give it to our CEO, Miss Lilith. She is a legend.
Yeah.
And in aviation, private aviation, people know her. People really know her.
Yeah, I saw if I check your Instagram, it's mostly her face that is there. So she's like the face of the brand.
She is, yes. Yeah. She is the Voyex Living is Lilith.
Yeah.
She's very humble. She always gives a lot of credit to the team, but I always say that, when we see CEOs and entrepreneurs, right? And you understand this, that there's a lot of grind that goes behind the product. Yes. People see the final product, right? People see, oh yeah, Voyex is growing and everything great, but they don't see the stresses and the behind the scenes, the work and the connections and the hours and the meetings and the tough conversations and the hard conversations. And, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scene. Yes. And only then do we see the final product. So, I would always say that, Voyex Living is Lilith, 100%.
Yeah, Voyex Living just won an award, right?
Voyex Living is...
They won award. They received an award.
Two awards, actually. Yes, 2 awards. One we won last year and one just in the beginning of this year.
Yeah, can you tell us the service that you provided and how you provided them? You said you have up to 15,000 aircraft that you service, right? So how does that work? Someone needs to contact you, like, You do you transport people from here. You also cargo, right?
Cargo as well,
Yeah,
yes.
and you also offer concierge. You book a flight. That is like everything hotel offers. You offer them, but you do your own with flights.
And we go a step ahead. So I'll tell you a small example of something that we're working on. A mystery flight package. So a family of
Hmm.
4 to 6 people, they hop onto an aircraft, they don't know where they're going. Okay. We've taken care of the transport. It will not just be any transport, it will be the best of the best car coming to pick up what is available in the region. All right.
Luxury.
Yes. Luxury, safety, everything. On the aircraft, you will find personalized gifts because there will be a survey done before the client gets onto the aircraft,
Yeah.
what they like eating, what are their interests, etc., etc. So we will curate everything from A to Z. So on the aircraft, they'll find personalized, tiny, tiny touches. When they land at the location, that's when they'll know where they are. So we have tie-ups with a lovely company in Tanzania, and we're looking into getting them for the, how can I say, the wildlife tours, the safaris. And I think there's one Four Seasons in Serengeti,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So we have a tie-up of people with people on the ground who take care of everything: security protocols, car bookings, and how can I say, the experiences on the ground. Everything is done. The entire itinerary is set for them. So they just sit and they go. They do their entire experience for a week, 7 to 10 days, 5 to 7 days, depending, and then they come back. Everything taken care of.
It's not like they will choose where they want to go. You will choose the place for them.
That's the mystery flight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have the regular charters when people, they approach us and they go like, yes, we want to fly from A to B. Sometimes we have smaller flights. Like Europe is not very big. We have small flights, 1 hour, 2 hour flights. If somebody's flying from London to, well, across from England to France or Italy, or within Europe, if they're flying from, let's say, Switzerland to, I don't know, France is a hotspot. So a lot of people like going to Nice and Lyon, and in Switzerland it'll be Geneva or how to say, Courchevel, stuff like that. So people approach us naturally, and some have very particular requests. For example, they will request a specific aircraft. Some clients are more price sensitive, which is fair. Some clients are more service centric. So they don't care about the money. They care about, it has to be an aircraft, it has to be a G550, not older than 2019, or they'll be very specific.
Yeah.
And they want particular thing. They want, for example, X catering on board.
And you will get it.
And we get it sorted. Yes. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
We are solution providers.
Okay.
So a client comes to us with a request, we go like, okay, you know what? We'll take it a step ahead. We'll even do this for you.
So it doesn't matter. Whatever the client wants, you'll get it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, travel is not only in Africa you travel, right? Because you were saying something about safari.
Yes.
You go to South Africa, maybe Kenya. It doesn't matter. Wherever the clients want to go.
It doesn't matter where they want to go. We take care of their travel experiences. So, for example, we had a client one time, he wanted to experience flying a jet. Oh, of course, we can't let them fly a jet. But what we can do is...
let them into cockpits.
Not exactly, but we can do that as well. However, we had a tie-up with... We arranged the experience with... there's a flying school in Ras Al Khaimah.
Okay.
So they have those joy rides. So we put them in the passenger seat at the back, and then we let them go for a joyride. So people like to ask for these particular requests. Many a time they feel that, it's sort of out of their reach because there's a lot of misinformation in the market. People think it's too expensive. Yes, it is expensive, but now there's a lot of money in the market. There's a lot of new money. There's a lot of upcoming businessmen who have, from middle class, they've stepped up, But they feel that it's too expensive because they don't have the right information. There's not enough information about private aviation to people to tell them that how accessible it has become. If you're flying business class or first class, easily, you can fly.
Yeah, but do you handle honeymoon, like wedding?
Yes.
You arrange everything for them?
Yes, we do. We do events as well. So very recently, we took care of a lovely local lady for the brand of her personal jewelry. It was a personal jewelry brand. So we did everything from arranging the villa on the palm and the virtual merchandising and how everything would be set up
Mhm.
to the camera to everything. The entire event was done by Voyex Living. And then we've also done a few events for two other lovely companies we have a tie-up with. And so one is Forbes Australia. So they're, how can I say, members.
Mm.
They fly with us. So we did an event for them in Yas. It was a supercar racing event. So we do not just private aviation, but
Yeah.
also the luxury lifestyle. So it's not limited. We are the one-stop shop for luxury. You want to fly, we'll get you to fly. You want to move cargo, we have that covered.
Mm.
You want VIP transfers, helicopter transfers, we have that covered. We can facilitate memberships for private membership clubs in Dubai, in Europe, because they have international networks. You want VIP cars, we can do that. When we're moving cargo, we're not limited to what type of cargo. General cargo, cars, electronics. So we take care of everything under the roof. So,
Yeah, if a family wants to move from one country to the other, so every of their property you can move it.
we can assist them, yes. But when it comes to cargo, we're talking about volume cargo. Of
Okay.
course, we do step in. We do get some of our very good clients. Sometimes they have smaller requests, like they want to move 100, 200, 300, 500 kilos, which is very small when it comes to cargo volumes. And we assist because we have our people who we work with, some freight forwarders, some aircraft owners directly. And we always accommodate these requests. So that's fine.
Yeah, that's incredible. Can you tell us about how you arrange for what is it called, your events? What are the steps like? Is it register or just the person have to just book it? The person have to I don't know if you understand what I mean. Your event, you handle
Right.
events, honeymoon or wedding, right?
Yes, we can.
So the person need to register it, pre-register it, or book it.
They need to obviously, let us know in advance so that there's no clashes. We can try and accommodate. Of course, if we are available on those dates, we make sure that we take care of everything from your flower arrangements to the transporting of the bride and the groom, and everything will be done by us because we have an events team. So they take care of all of those things. We have a concierge team. We have marketing and PR, someone who takes care of that side of the business. So I mostly take care of the aviation side of the business. But yes, we have an entire team in place who does take care of the events, making sure everything is in place from the interior decor to the transport to the catering to if there's any virtual merchandising to be done. If they need people, how can I say, a videography team. So we'll make sure that everything is there.
Yeah, it's like 1 month in advance, or just you can book it. It's like 1 month in advance.
We have done very last moment.
Okay.
Yes. Sudden requests. It can happen. But sometimes it's more streamlined when we know in advance. So let's just say the product we deliver every time, it's to the eye, you don't know. To you, it's the final product and it's brilliant. But we know what goes on in the background.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just a bit more easier if we know in advance. Even if it's last minute, we still deliver. We still deliver. But it's just better to know in advance.
Yeah, you're connected to make their life easy.
Yes, we are.
And provide whatever they want for their event or stay, whatever it is that they're going for.
Yeah, definitely. It happened with us. Like, for example, we had we booked a car with somebody, a Rolls Royce, beautiful car. And in the middle of the night at 11:30 or something, our operations officer received a message that the car is no longer available for X reason. And we needed the car the next morning at 7:30 because our client's, his mother was arriving. And, if we've promised something, we have to deliver. early morning, we went out and we procured another car, made sure. So you see, last moment things can happen. The client shouldn't know.
Yeah, of
We
course.
know.
Yeah.
We know whatever happened, and that's fine as long as we deliver what we've promised, and that's what matters.
The client will be, wow, we have a memorable stay, we have this, but they don't know what happened in
Yeah.
the background. Yeah.
Well, they don't
Yeah.
need to know. That's fine.
Yeah. That is good. So your company is a new company.
That is correct.
Like how old?
We are 10 months now into the market. However, the experience we bring on board is immense.
Yes.
So I'll talk about our CEO now. She's been in aviation 11 and a half years, and a very amazing story. So she started from admin. She went on to develop the charter department for a company. She resigned as the director, went on to be the vice president of charter sales and aircraft sales in another company. And then finally, she understood that she has the support of all the operators. They've been working with her for so long. Clients love working with her. And then she just decided that, now is the time to, break that glass ceiling and go step ahead. She started her own company. So, yeah.
There, talking about that, your CEO right
Yes.
now is a lady, shows that there is nothing impossible for people that are thinking because I'm a woman, I cannot attain this height, right?
She is the first woman in the Middle East. Well, Voyex Living is the first woman-founded company,
In the Middle
aviation company in the Middle East. Yeah, so that's
and it's thriving.
And yes, it's thriving. So it's 2020 thrive. So we're going to take it a step ahead. Yes.
Yeah. That is wonderful. So can you tell us Voyex Living?
Yes.
Can we understand they offer luxury living, they offer concierge, they offer cargo,
Yes.
they offer transport. You said you can transport helicopter.
Yes, we can. We're actually working on a request for a client.
Transporting helicopter, or you offer helicopter service? Like
both.
Okay.
So, for example, helicopter transfers, what I meant was, for example, we had the Yas Marina event, correct?
Okay.
So a lot of our VIP people, they were living in Dubai and they didn't want to go by car to Abu Dhabi. So they wanted to go by helicopters, and we managed that perfectly. We have certain clients in Europe. For example, I'll tell you, there's an airport in South London, Biggin Hill. It's the nearest airport to central London. And we have connections with them. We have tie-ups with them to transport our clients when they land over there instead of a car transfer, because London is super crowded. So we do a helicopter transfer. So that's one thing. Coming to the cargo side of things, we're actually transporting 5 helicopters from Europe to Asia. So we...
Transporting with plane.
Yeah, in an Illusion, yes. It's a cargo aircraft, Illusion IL-76. So
Illusion,
yeah. It's a beautiful machine, and mostly used for this oversized cargo, I should say. So,
your company is really they're doing a massive job.
yes.
Handling 5 helicopters at a time as a transfer.
So it's 2 helicopters in per every time. So it'll go, take 2, drop, come back. So yeah.
So even if it's car, you transfer it by flight also.
Yes, we've recently delivered 40 cars to West Africa. I won't take the name of the country, but yeah.
I think I will guess. If I guess 2, I'll get it right.
Go on.
Yeah. If I can guess South Africa or Nigeria.
No.
Oh, come on.
Wrong. Both wrong.
All right, it's okay. So
I said West Africa.
Yeah, West Africa. Nigeria is West Africa.
It's not exactly. Well, you need to move a bit more west.
Okay. Let me leave it. Maybe you didn't want to say it. Maybe it's for. Let me leave it.
That's all right.
Yeah. So you transport all cargoes. You transport luxury cars. If they buy luxury cars and they want it very fast, you get it to them.
Yes, we do.
It doesn't matter where.
It doesn't matter where.
Have you done any job for any Nigerian before?
Unfortunately, I haven't, but I know there's a beautiful, how can I say, FBO. FBO means VIP terminal. There's a lovely VIP terminal in Nigeria. And Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa right now, and they're growing at an extremely good rate. People don't understand the African market is so untapped. It is filled with potential. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of cargo going, because Africa is such a rich land filled with resources. So all the resources are being exported, like perishable goods, which is vegetables, flowers, meat. It's all going out of Africa. And they're bringing in electronics, cars, spare parts, oil. They're bringing a lot of things. So the movement is extremely good. People don't understand that. There's a lot of money in Africa, but there's a lot of misinformation as well. Because I know there are so many high net worth people there, but they feel private aviation is out of their reach because it's too expensive. And that's the misinformation we would like to sort of remove through a platform like this. That, you know, if the client gets slightly educated, because these are all the ones at the top, they already know private aviation, correct? They're already flying. The middle class has recently stepped up. They've made money. They want to experience luxury. So they come down to Dubai. They live in the best of hotels, but they'll fly economy or business class because they're feeling that, oh, you know, it's out of our reach. They'll come here, they'll buy their Hermes and Dior and everything, and they'll do shopping worth thousands, right? They'll buy their Rolexes and Omegas, and they'll spend hundreds of thousands. But when it comes to aviation, they'll feel that, oh, private aviation is out of our reach. There's a slight misinformation there.
Do you talk your pricing?
Well, I can give you an example. For example, an hour, to keep it simple in layman's terms so everybody can understand. There's many variables in booking a flight. However, as simple as it gets, a charter can cost you between $12,000, $10,000, $11,000 per hour and upwards.
Okay.
Now, what many people don't know is something called an empty leg. All right. So when you book, let's say you're booking a car, it's coming to pick you up.
Yeah.
It's coming empty.
Okay.
So that empty leg, because it's already been booked, correct? And it has to go back to its base or whatever. It has to go back empty or it's coming empty.
Yeah.
That is sold for maybe sometimes half the price, maybe lesser than that. So that becomes all of a sudden very affordable, correct? How do you think a lot of these people you see on private jets now, bloggers, not that well-known celebrities, they're still celebrities, but they're not, you know, if you're comparing Tom Cruise with somebody coming up, you know, it's a different class of celebrity. But they're all on private jets. How is that happening? Right? Sometimes it's sponsors, of course, 100%. Sometimes they have the capacity to, of course. And sometimes, you know, that there's a whole market about this. There's an empty leg market. So that from the operator perspective, they can maximize their output. From the client perspective, now it's accessible to somebody who wants to fly private. Imagine flying from Europe, anywhere in Europe, to anywhere within Europe, a 2-hour, 1-hour flight for $5,000, $4,000. And if it's an 8-seater aircraft, 4 of us over here can at least pitch in $1,000, right? $4,000.
I never looked at it that way.
So you see, if you there's a lot of misconceptions, misinformation about private aviation out there. Yes, of course, if I do a charter, it would cost me a lot. Without a doubt, yes, it would cost me a lot. But if I know the right people to get in touch with, who can do the right arrangements for you, so why not?
So, but your price also varies from the kind of flights you use, right?
100%, because it depends what aircraft is used. It depends on the owner of the aircraft.
Okay.
Some of them are competitive in the market, so the prices are very similar. Some operators, they charge higher. Some operators don't. It depends on them. That's a personal choice. Then the variables are what type of aircraft, right? So there's different fuel burn. Let's keep it relatable in the sense of we can book a Camry, we can book an Altima, we can book a Honda Accord. Pretty much same. Prices will be same. Now suddenly I want to book a Bentley. Price will be a little different. It's the same 4 or 5 people fitting in the car. The price is different. Now, next to a Bentley, if I want to book a Rolls Royce, price is going to go slightly up, right?
Yeah.
So very similar in aircraft. So if you're booking a smaller aircraft, a different make or a model, they have this. So it's light jets, mid-sized jets, heavy jets, and then ultra long range. So we have the different classes.
So friends, like 8-seater plane, 8-seater jet. Friends can just contribute wherever they want to go, and they'll have a luxury experience also.
Yes, that
And
is
it
correct.
will not be that much expensive for them.
Not at all.
But if somebody that wants to fly, let me say from Nigeria to Dubai, it's around 9 hours.
9-hour flight. Let's calculate that. Let's keep it simple, round it off. Let's say $11,000. So that's $99,000.
Mm.
That would be the flight. And if it's 9 hours, then it would depend on which aircraft we want to book.
Okay.
Because if it's a smaller aircraft, it would need a technical stop. It would have to stop, refuel, and then fly.
Okay.
For such a flight, we would use a heavy jet or an ultra long range jet. So in one go, it can fly like 11, 12, 13 hours and do the flight. But the price will also be different. Yeah.
It will be going maybe 15 for an hour. For an hour.
It can be more.
It can be more.
It can be more, definitely.
That is good. So is there anything you offer that you did not let us know?
I can't think of anything off my head, but we pretty much, like I said, so not limited to just private aviation. We do VIP concierge, lifestyle experiences.
Can you tell us about it?
So DMCs, for example, there are sometimes a lot of my clients, I have a few Asian clients, they come to Dubai through first class, business class. But then when they're here, they want to do the entire experience, the hot air balloon, the skydive.
Okay.
They can do it themselves, correct?
Yeah.
They can just reach out and do it themselves. But the connection is such, and the service we provide, and how it's curated and personalized, they feel very, very comfortable doing it through us. And
coming to pick them up,
everything.
Going and take them back.
Yes.
Yeah, but you don't do like a tour, right? But a client can just
tours. We're not a tour company, but we can facilitate that because obviously we know people on the ground and we can definitely connect them. We ourselves are not into tours, but we can 100% arrange it. Like for example, we would love to do a tour for somebody if a client is going to, let's say, coming to Dubai. And they want to do a helicopter tour. So we know the helicopter operators and we arranged it for them without an issue.
You can take care of a client for the whole day, wherever they want to go, visit, eat, anywhere they want to
go. We can arrange them a chauffeured car. Make sure the gentleman is with them the whole day, takes them places, make sure everything's done, drops them back home safely.
Yeah, I see on your LinkedIn page, you posting kind of plane, you giving histories about plane.
Yes.
How did you develop a love for plane? Is it because you're into the job, or you've developed something happened and you developed job?
I would like to say it's something called acquired taste.
Okay.
Like for example, the first time somebody drinks alcohol, they don't like the taste. You acquire the taste, start liking it over time.
Yeah.
Now this sort of helped me in the sense that my best friend, his younger brother, also my best friend. So he was into engineering and he did aeronautical. So since a young age, again, we had that exposure to aviation. I wasn't into it because I never understood it. It's nice, everybody's flying. I always was fascinated at the fact about this private aviation. We see in the movies, people flying private jets and everything. Very interesting. Sounds very interesting. But then you don't understand something unless you get into it. The constant exposure over the years that, somewhere, somebody, who these people, these personalities who are flying private, there's a reason why they're flying private, right? Because they've accomplished some things in life. They've reached some status. Yeah, they've reached a level. They've worked for it. And it's part of that, lifestyle. That became attractive. So, and then when your perspective changes, your view changes towards a lot of things. Like it's growth, right? Like you probably don't like a lot of things now, which you liked as a kid. And as time goes by, you will probably like a lot of things which you didn't like, and vice versa. This will keep happening. So when I finally did decide, when I do something, I like to go all in. So when I did get into aviation, I said, okay, fine, that's it. Now I need to understand what aviation is, what general aviation is, what is commercial aviation, understand what big brands have been associated with aviation, which is what you see. I always do a memory walk down memory lane with Rez and all of these
I think
series.
you did this morning, right? Is it this morning or
Yes,
yesterday?
I actually sit down every weekend and I make all the content and I just schedule it because I know during the week I will not get time. So I just schedule all the posts and then thanks to technology, it does its work. So I decided, I even went on to do a aviation management course. So I like to take things, what I do, very seriously. And I think it's subconscious. Maybe I do like it somewhere, which is why I take a lot of interest and which is why I'm good at what I'm doing, right? I'm fairly good at it.
Yeah.
And there's always room for improvement. And that's where self-development comes in, that I studied about this. I'm looking forward to do a course with the Air Charter Association, which would be a year or more. And there's another course I'm looking at, which is a 3-year course for a charter broker to be a certified charter broker. You know, so I would advise to anybody that, you know, if you're getting into something, do it. You know, put 100% in. It's like Muhammad Ali said, nobody likes getting punched in the face, but you have to do the boring stuff in order to reach where you want to reach. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
People just go like, oh yeah, you know, they see something. Easily impressionable people we find now, unfortunately. We as humans are God's greatest creations. How many great decisions do we take?
I see that you became or you are very proactive.
Yes.
How did that happen? Has that been always your kind of person?
It's been a mix and match. I would
Okay.
like to highlight a few incidents which we learn as we go along, right?
Yes,
We
yes,
learn as we
yes.
go along. So I was a very active kid. Then somewhere down the line, I lost my way. Got into a few interesting habits, which made, well, after the accident and stuff, obviously lost my fitness and stuff. So I started, unfortunately, drinking and a lot of these things, which obviously I'm not proud of, but it's part of me. If I am the product of my decisions at the end of the day,
Yes.
right? So obviously I went through that phase, and in one meeting, me and my very close friend, I owe him a lot of the knowledge which I have. Like, for example, a lot of things I've picked up from him. So we guys were sitting and I told him, we were having a drink and I said, chill, bro. And he said, no, bro, you need to chill a bit less, bro. I think somewhere I felt that. I'm like, you know, maybe I'm losing my way somewhere or the other. And I've been blessed in the sense that I've had these people look out for me, who advise you. If your friend isn't calling you out,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
If your friend isn't calling you out on something, you have to be really careful.
They're just there for the ride.
Yeah. And someone who truly is looking out for you, they might have their own way of expressing it. And he very, very politely, he was like, no, bro, you need to chill a bit less. And we're having a drink. Like, you don't remember the next morning. But that stuck with me. And then obviously I decided to focus more on self-development. I lost my way. I was a very fit human being. I became 107 kilos of fat. Yeah. So after that, I took that on board and I was like, I have been a personal trainer. I have been a nutritionist. I need to start applying all of this on myself. So we go through the phases. You know, we have to make those mistakes. I don't necessarily say that I was stupid. I didn't learn from other people's mistakes. I had to shoot myself in the leg myself and then understand the pain. But smarter people, I would advise that, you know, look at somebody who trips, just don't go on that road because you see there's a tripwire. Don't trip.
And there is something I get to understand, that when you are self-developing yourself, you get more confidence in life. You will not be scared to approach things.
Yes, you need to have a little bit of, how can I say, enthusiasm is something very light. Everybody is enthusiastic. No, you need to have a bit of a crazy side to yourself. It's only those people who actually go on and do things. Like, you don't have to be psychotic, but you have to have a craze to do something. And that builds on the confidence that you want to do something. It shouldn't be a need.
Yeah.
You want to do it. If it's a need, then you sort of have to. It's like, you don't have an option or something. No, you should want to do it. You need to feed your mind the right information. That's why they call it spellings, right?
Yeah.
Because it plays on you. If you see, our mind is like a farm field. If I keep sowing negative seeds, eventually they will grow. Whether or not you water them, they will grow because the resources are there.
Yeah.
The weather is there.
Yeah.
It will grow. Similarly, if you plant the right seeds, don't tell yourself that, like, you must have heard this so many times. Like, I'm not saying something new here. That, we say that, oh, I have to go to work. No, be happy that you get to go to work. You're living the life. We're actually sitting in a lovely place right now where people dream to sit on sofas. People dream to have good clothes. Gratification is missing. People are very quick to judge. They're very quick to sort of undermine what they have. They'll complain about
This is
life.
motivation now, right now.
Yeah, because see, and it's all interconnected.
Yes.
It's self-motivation. Nobody's going to come and tell you that, if you have that person, brilliant. That's your home team.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You have those people to push you. But some days you have nobody to push. And like, you have to have that craze within you. Nobody told me to go out and do aviation management, do fitness, do this, do your BBA, study a bit of philosophy, do research on psychology, do research on history. Nobody's telling me this. I'm doing it myself. Why? I want to improve. We are like swords, okay? We're like weapons. Our brains, our bodies are like weapons. And a weapon is only good while it's being used, all right? The day you feel that you as a knife or a sword are sharp enough, you lose your edge. You always need to keep it sharp. You need to keep it sharp. Why? It's not because you have to use it, but you need to be prepared. Preparation is very important. People are not prepared. Like, oh yeah, it's okay. When the time comes, I will see. No, that's the wrong attitude. People pick things out of context. They see something and they're like, oh yeah, you should be a risk taker. Be like, yes. Calculated risk taker. Practice makes perfect. No, if you're practicing the wrong thing, it's not going to make perfect. It's going to destroy.
Yeah.
Perfect practice makes perfect. So you need to. So these things.
Say that again.
Perfect practice makes perfect. Or the right practice makes perfect. If I practice the wrong thing, it's not perfect. Yes, I am perfecting something very wrong. That's not correct. So these things we are very quick to sort of, pluck out of the air and just be like, oh yeah, because he's doing. I like to say it like assimilation of information without comprehension. We see anything on social media, absorb it.
Yeah.
You need to understand context. Context is key. Who is saying? Why are they saying? Why is he doing it? You need to. We're having a conversation because you've done some background on me. So you can have that conversation. If I don't understand the person who I'm talking to, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
How can I have a conversation?
You can.
Now see how I'm going to connect this to sales. So when you go down to a client, you need to do your homework.
Yes.
You need to know what his lifestyle is, especially when you're dealing with luxury people, luxury lifestyle. You need to know what their interest is. Is he into watches? Is he into horse racing? Is he into yachts? So then you can develop that conversation.
Yeah.
Sit down, do your homework, be prepared. Do your homework.
It's essential that you prepare. Yeah.
So then you know exactly.
You need to have an edge. You need to be prepared to impress the clients that you're going to meet. It's essential.
The client feels respected. That it's like he's done his homework.
Yeah.
He knows about me.
Most people don't know that.
They don't care.
Well, I like to when I'm having a podcast with guests or I'm speaking with guests on my podcast, I like to ask the person like a sudden question. The person will be like, okay, yeah, he has done his own work, something like that. So you've been around, you've been doing luxury and you've been around high network people.
Yes.
What can you tell us about social status?
There's two types. Okay. So one is, I like to call them old money, wealth, generation wealth. They've seen it. They've earned it. Then there's the new money. You'll see the difference in that crowd. Old money, a millionaire will be sitting next to you, minimalist, tiny brand on their clothes, doesn't care about what shoes he's wearing. He'll be in slippers, he'll be wearing a basic watch. Very, very simple. Sit down, quiet. New money, he'll be a bit flashy. He'll be out there,
Mm.
like showing themselves, which is great. That's fine. It's okay. You have it. You can show it.
I think it's because I think newer generation they like fashion.
They do, yeah. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just how they are. Like many people get offended, like, oh, but no, it's totally fine.
I also think you're a fashionist. I think you like fashion.
But they're not brands. You get it.
Yeah.
It's about how you carry yourself.
Okay.
You can look good
Yeah.
without wearing brands. So unfortunately, I'm not wearing any brands. These are just local clothes.
And you like this type of cap?
I do, yes, I do.
What is
I
it
don't
called?
know.
Papa's cap?
It's known like a French cap. They call these French caps. They call these from, obviously, during the COVID time, it blew up Peaky Blinders. So it's one of the Peaky Blinders hat. But I've always liked these things.
In my country, we call this Papa's cap.
Well, there you go.
Because it looks like it's always the fathers that like to wake up like this.
Yeah, and see, to me, I have this old school touch. I like to be as groomed as possible, as presentable as possible, because I feel if you're not presentable, you're disrespecting the people you're meeting, whether it be your clients, whether it be your colleagues. It's always good to be presentable. There's no harm, and everybody has their own style. There was a time I was only in tracksuits when I was in a gym, when I was working as a personal trainer. My friends would be like, don't you have any other clothes? Like, you always wear tracksuits. I was like, yeah, because I feel comfortable in that. And now I'm mostly in formals, because you have to sort of understand, when in Rome, do as the Romans.
Yeah.
I can't wear a formal suit on the beach or go to the gym. However, I can't show up to a meeting in a tracksuit and shorts. So people need to have a little bit situational awareness of how to dress and wear. That goes missing sometimes. And it's fine. They pull it off and they say that, yeah, it's fashion or whatever. And that's great. Like fashion, it's like a philosophy. You can't really go wrong. You go like 1 + 1 is 2, or however you take it. So fashion is fashion. Look at, if I start taking names of brands, I don't know how legit it would be if I can talk about something, then can call it defamation. But you probably understand I'm talking about, like people walking around in the mud wearing all sorts of weird clothes. So that's fashion as well. Yeah. And it picked up. Everybody was making reels about it. So that's fashion as well. But how acceptable is it?
Yeah.
It's personal opinion.
Yeah, I see. And I also, everybody that is watching this video, we see that you know your craft. So I would like to ask you, what hobby do you have?
I like to, fitness is definitely a hobby. I still keep an eye on the new trends like biohacking and a lot of this. One of my childhood friends, by the way, from school, he's a lead biohacker in UAE, and I'll tell you more about him next time. Fitness is something. I like to cook. I like to read about cooking. For example, Gordon Ramsay is one of my favorites. I follow him a lot. Gino is another guy. Great people to watch. What else do I like? I like reading, research, and history. I do a lot of reading, which is boring. Not necessarily books anymore, but I do a lot of online reading. Like I'll sit down, I'll start pulling out sources, and then I have to cross-check them, how legit they are, because online you can't really, you can go wrong in an instant. So legit sources, if you see something reoccurring across time with different authors, then you can understand that, it's fairly legit. And then you do your own reading, historical reading about different civilizations, different countries, cultures, religions. I always love to try and bridge the understanding from Adam till Muhammad, peace be upon him. So it's interesting. I have weird interests, I would say.
So Rez is Reza. Is what origin?
Reza. Reza is an Iranian name. Okay. So I have a very interesting background. I come from a lineage of theologians. See, I get so nervous when I talk about my family because they're all so great. And, when you're the only one who's not, part of them.
Some people argue that.
You sort of stand out. Not in the right way necessarily, but it is what it is, right? And you have to accept it. So long story short, so I have a little bit of Iranian blood, and I have a little bit of Iraqi blood in the roots. If you go all the way back, my family is on Wikipedia, which is a disaster sometimes, I feel, because then people associate you,
Your
right?
family is on Wikipedia?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to check. Is that how you get to know a PBD?
Well, PBD, no, man. PBD is amazing. I've been following him for a very long time. I think he's very informative. He's very influential. Does great informative podcasts. Even the panel they have, and the people who come on board, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very controversial, but you have to be controversial.
Yeah.
You should be open to being controversial. You shouldn't feel that you, as long as, see, controversial and disrespectful is two different things. I can say something controversial. I shouldn't say something disrespectful, because there is a moral obligation. You know, it's not written anywhere, but there's a moral obligation. There are lines which, you know, have to be followed. We can have a hard or difficult conversation, not a disrespect. Yeah, there we go. So we cannot have a disrespectful conversation. We can have a tough conversation, and that's fine. Yeah, but disrespect, people often, they think that, oh yeah, freedom of speech and blah blah, so I can say anything, and I can say, on the pretext of controversial comments, they might say something disrespectful. That is not acceptable. No. So,
if this is your first time, I will say, coming across Vicinfluential, I will ask you to subscribe, comment, and like, because this community will want it to grow. We have amazing things coming our way and also coming on your way. Very soon, we are going to launch our website, and it's also going to be an e-commerce website. Have a little bit of everything that we are doing here. So thank you for joining us, and see you next time.